Welcome to Publitarian Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Publitarian Podcast. I'm Ronald Johnson, as always, and thanks for being here. All right, let's get right into it. I would be remiss if I did not weigh in on the Roseanne Barr situation because everybody's got an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So I thought I might as well just throw my opinion onto the already huge, overflowing landmass of stinky opinions about Roseanne Barr and what she said and what she did. I'm sure you guys already know, but I'll bring you up to speed anyway, just in case you aren't. Ms. Barr put out a tweet regarding President Obama's, one of his right-hand lady lackeys, Valerie Jarrett. And she said that she looked like a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. And I didn't even know Valerie Jarrett had any kind of African-American in her, and I was quick to call out anybody for associating black people with apes, that they would be the ones that would have the racist problem and not Roseanne Barr, but it fell upon deaf ears. But anyway, it was kind of a hat tip because Valerie Jarrett is involved in the Muslim Brotherhood, and I don't care if it's my unpopular opinion or not, guys. She does look like that lady from Planet of the Apes. The reboot, when was that? 2003? She does look like that that lady in there. I don't think Roseanne was trying to be racist. I think she was pointing out some features between her and that chick from Planet of the Apes. But anyway, that's my unpopular opinion on the subject. Also, conservatives, I'm looking at you while I'm on the subject. Roseanne Barr is not really a conservative. She's always been out in frickin' left field stratosphere. I don't mean left field political ideology necessarily, but she's always just been a Looney Tune out there. And, you know, shame on you for just embracing her. As soon as everybody started lifting her up upon the "she likes Trump" pedestal, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a fall from grace. This is going to be a bad fall from grace whenever she says, does, or tweets the wrong thing. And that's exactly what happened. But, I mean, I knew that was going to happen. I'm old enough that I remember Roseanne Barr coming out in the either late 80s or 90s to sing the national anthem at a baseball game. And people lost their collective patriotic minds because she pretty much besmirched the national anthem by going out there and, you know, singing off key, caterwauling, grabbing her crotch, and it was not well received. She's also been like a Green Party member and everything else. In other words, she was just out in left field, and it was only a matter of time before she collapsed on herself like a exploding star. But now that I've said all that, I'm looking back at you again, conservatives. Especially a lot of our conservative voices that we look up to. People were really quick to just throw under the bus, and I didn't appreciate that either. And unfortunately, that's something that our side of the aisle does. Again, going back to one of my earlier podcast episodes, we just do not unite. If someone is not espousing pure conservative ideology, or if they say and do the wrong thing, even briefly for a second, and, you know, we are human beings. We are living the human experience. We are going to say and do the wrong thing from time to time. But anyway, so they just threw her under the bus very quickly for that. And I, for one, like I said, unpopular opinion, didn't see anything racist necessarily about it. I just think Roseanne was pointing out something that I thought as well when I went back and looked. I was like, Planet of the Apes, Valerie Jarrett, and I went and looked at pictures. I was like, oh, yeah, huh. Like I said, I thought Jarrett was Iranian. Jarrett was born in Iran, raised in Iran. She does have a African father. I don't know if he is straight up African American or not, but anyway, she's some sort of mixed race. But, you know, I guess if you have any kind of African American in you, you can claim sainthood if somebody calls you an ape or says that you resemble an ape. So anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. Now, moving on. I'm going to go to one of my favorite segments called Swipe for Cancer. All right, we're going to do this in real time. Follow along with me, iOS users. Here we go. Phone coming out of pocket. Swipe for cancer. We're going to swipe and see what's on our news feed today and see how cucked the news is. If my phone will cooperate. Here we go. Swiping. California primaries take top billing as voters in 8 states head to polls. Oh, that wasn't that cancerous. All right. Prosecutors asked judge to revoke Paul Manafort's bail in Mueller investigation. Oh, there we go. There's the cancer I was looking for. The Russia investigation continues in the news. I don't even need to get into the headline. It's just they need that Russia collusion narrative to stay in the news. Even though underground Dems are telling the media, hey, stop running with the Russian thing, they're not going to let it go. They're too invested in this now. It's been, 2 years of this? What else have we got? Oh, hey, something from Fox actually popped up. Not usually cancerous. You could argue that Fox News is right-leaning, but I don't consider that a cancerous news source. American couple shot dead in Mexico home in apparent botched robbery, officials says. A retired American couple was found fatally shot inside their Mexico home after a botched robbery attempt Saturday. Joe Ann Butler, 69, and Ray Ball, 72, of Prescott, Arizona, were killed in their Bahia de Los Angeles home about 380 miles south of the U.S. border on the Gulf of California. The San Diego Union Tribune reported. Oh, that's sad. Okay, well, here we go. Vigorous denials and then the truth from the Washington Post. Trump officials change course when contradictions mount. Oh my gosh. Yep, see? The cancer. The cancer is upon us. What else we got? A Sex and the City expert on why it's cool to be a Miranda now. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I need to know about my daily news intake is crap about Sex and the City. What else have we got? Ariana Grande goes blonde, ditches signature ponytail, and shows her freckles for Vogue. Oh my god. All right. That's enough cancer for one day. On to the actual podcast episode. And the episode, which is number 7, is called The Real War on Women. And my female listeners, before you get started on me, it's not an anti-woman episode. Just hang with me on this. I mean, I'm not pandering either, but I'm going where angels fear to tread. I am going to talk about the real war on women. And it's not the patriarchy like the feminists would have you to believe. The war that I see on women is a civil war, and it's being fought between 2 different types of women. You have your third wave feminists that are just cancerous in themselves, with just liberal Marxist opinions, fighting against what I would call Western civilization women. You could also boil it down and say the Western civilization women would be like your Starbucks basic women. You know, you wear yoga pants, or you're a soccer mom, you sip your lattes, and you just enjoy Sex in the City, and This Is Us, and a good cry, and oh my gosh. So yeah, that was my horrible woman impression. It may have just borderlined on gay man. I don't know. So just stay with me on this, ladies. I promise. I'm gonna 180 this, and you guys are gonna be good by the time I get done with this. So there's a fact that women are engineering their own demise by playing to these Western civilization stereotypes of themselves. And what I mean by that is we're all laughing at the soccer mom now. We're all laughing at the yoga pants wearing mom now. We're all laughing at the emotionally unstable, unhappy woman that may be married, that may have kids, and has been lied to by third wave feminism for most of her life by saying that in order for her to be fulfilled, she can't be a stay-at-home mom. She has to have all of her own independent thoughts. She won't be happy with a husband. And time and time again, this has been ingrained into the female culture, in their magazines, the media they watch, and everything else. And it's really sad because now we have another crop of females coming up that don't have any self-esteem because they've been told to reject or resist any what the Christians would call like traditional female roles. And don't worry, ladies, I'm not getting into that. The point I'm getting here is not to tell you that you have to be fulfilled. In order for you to be fulfilled, that you have to be a stay-at-home mom or a housewife or pop out 18 kids. That is not the point of this podcast. What I'm saying here is that the war that's being fought, you are fighting it with each other. And once you're cognizant of that, I think that we can turn the ship around and start, and you can start, and as men, we can start raising some truly empowered females with critical thinking skills. A little bit about feminism. My wife is actually a feminist, but she would call it reformed feminism. When I started dating her, she was a proud feminist, and I would start questioning. I would say, as a feminist in America, what fight are you fighting? Like, what do females have in the United States of America that men do not have? And I started just laying the case down for or against third wave feminism. And so now she calls herself a reformed feminist. And actually what she does for a living, she's a children's behavioral therapist. And if it was not for this problem that I'm talking about with women needing to have their independence and listening to generations of doctors from the 60s on up and society telling them how they need to raise their kids. If it wasn't for these types of women that are now raising other women like this, my wife wouldn't have a job. She's a children's behavior therapist, and that's what they do. They don't really do therapy on children as much as they're doing therapy on the people raising the children. And most of the times, this is women raising the children. I'm going to get to you too, guys. I'm not giving you a pass in this either when it comes to raising your kids. But anyway, she said if parents were doing their jobs, particularly the women, she would not have a job because she is basically going into these people's homes or, meeting them on neutral turf and showing them how to raise children. And one of the key responses she gets back from people, the mothers especially, is, can I do that to my kid? Can I say that to my kid? And she's like, yes, you're the parent. Yes, you can discipline your child. And that's what's happened. That's for another podcast because now I'm swerving into being a parent and disciplining your children. But women have been the primary raiser of children for the past couple of decades now. You've got your men who've got their own problems that are either absent or distant or don't know how to be men anymore. See, man, I told you, I was coming for you. So you've got these, Starbucks sipping, latte drinking, yoga pant wearing moms who are not emotionally stable anymore and that just don't know what to do with their children. And then you have a lot of grandparents raising the children for that reason, because just women don't know how to be moms anymore because they've been lied to a lot of their life by saying that they need to have this Sex and the City type of look on life to where they have to be single until they're 40, and then maybe they'll have a man, maybe they won't. And it's just it's helped engineer their own demise. And that's what I wanted to get at about this podcast, is the war on women is being fought between other women. It's between feminists and women that just want to have some traditional roles, traditional values. In pop culture and a lot of what we consume in the media, if you are a white woman, a Caucasian woman, blonde hair, especially if you have blue eyes, you're the enemy. I mean, it's crazy. If you look what's happening in media, that is your typical enemy. And again, these are female writers of shows attacking their own kind. It just, anything blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white woman, that's automatically the enemy. And I hate that that's happening in our media. So the takeaway from this podcast episode that I wanted to just be heartfelt and tell you women is start building each other up. Meet each other where you are at and stop tearing each other down. Be supportive, and don't look down on your fellow woman that happens to wear yoga pants and sips lattes and enjoys her wine and Sex in the City. Start uniting, start helping each other out, and hopefully we can turn this ship around. Oh, you know what? Since I brought up Starbucks drinking women, what about this Starbucks debacle that's happening? The racial bias training. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to give a shout out to my sister, the Gay Who Strayed on Instagram. She is threatening to put on a Make America Great Again hat and go into her local Starbucks and see how the bias training fared for these employees. I believe she also ordered a t-shirt that says like gays for Trump or something like that. So I will be very interested to see how that shakes out. Anyway, that will do it for me for this podcast. I just wanted to tell you women to stay strong. Don't reject traditional roles. Don't reject Trump supporting women, and women on the other side of the aisle, embrace your third wave feminist friend and try and help them see the light. Don't worry, man. I'll be coming for you too in another podcast. But in the meantime, thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. For turning in? I don't know. If I'm putting you to sleep, maybe you have turned in. Seriously, though, thank you for tuning in to this podcast. We just reached 100 downloads. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, you guys. Anyway, that will do it for me for this podcast. You guys take care and have a good one. See ya.
You've been listening to Publitarian Podcast. Copyright